Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the session 14 of 5-day faculty development program on environment and sustainability need of the day. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce Dr. C. Velan, sir, City Head, Chennai Operations and Pan-India Head for Property Management at Ascendus India, CapitaLand India. Dr. C. Velan is currently working as City Head, Chennai Operations and Pan-India Head for Property Management at Ascendus India, a Singapore-based organization and involved in its IT and industrial park establishments. Earlier, he was working at Tata Realty Infrastructure Limited as CEO for TRIL's flagship project, Ramanujan IT City in Chennai, and successfully established as one of the most happening IT projects in India. He graduated in civil engineering with a post-graduation in business administration as well as psychology and environment. He has PhD degree in civil engineering, and for the research work, he mainly focused on an area which is based on the need of our subject, sustainable designing of green IT buildings. He has presented and published various papers in national and international journals and conferences. Dr. Velan has more than 30 years of corporate experience with blue chip Indian and overseas companies that include Eicher Motors, Color Chem, CB Richard Ellis, and Ascendus. He has fellowship from Indian Green Building Council. He is an executive committee board member in Indian Green Building Congress. He is awarded as Best CEO of the Year from Construction Infrastructure Architect World Magazine. Also awarded as Real Estate Professional of the Year 2015 from CMO Asia, Singapore. He even awarded with the Professor of Eminence from Manomaniyam Sundaranar University, adjunct faculty at SRM University, Chennai. He is a member of the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. C. Velan, sir, to take over the session.
Why it is not accepting share?
Sir, try sharing the entire screen, sir.
I hope
So
now.
Yes, yes. Now it's visible.
Okay.
Yes,
see, I'm just showing some of the pictures in this first slide itself. You are seeing the buildings, right? Various buildings. There is a water body in the center. There are facades. There are lighting. There is also adjacent to this, there are naturally lit, how efficiently it is lit, the building, and how it is looking like in a diffused lighting hours. You are seeing this various pictures in this slide, right? So what exactly it means, my dear friends, actually is, what is that sustainability is all about? It is supposed to be relating to the society, the ecology, and the entire environment. It is connected to that particular entire system. It is not something, relating to manpower only. What it means, meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation. This is sustainability. What I am trying to say, my dear friends, is that I'm going to ask a few questions, and only one question. You just, for understanding this logic, that is why I'm talking at this question. With this question, our country is too large, or the world is also having so much of population, the demand, everything is going on. Park aside the world for a moment. You talk about your own country for a moment, India. For the development of India, that economic growth or the people, what do you call it, the status, in enhancement of the livable status and all those things, what is that is required? The development of infrastructure is important. Infrastructure includes probably the roads, railways, ports, airports, you can call the factories, office buildings, you can call anything, residential buildings, all those things are really required. Real estate, infrastructure, all are required to be developed. If those things are developed, manufacturing facilities, factories, so many things have to come up, right? If all those things are not there, can we have that kind of a growth of economy in the country? Definitely no. Not possible, right? This is a fundamental principle. For the development of any country, the people growth, there is a definite enhancement or development of infrastructure, which is unavoidable. This is the fundamental thing we all know. When you are doing this kind of development, my dear friends, will you impact the environment or not? Definitely, right? When you want to build the buildings or factories or anything, you will disturb the environment by means of cutting some trees, using some land parcels for digging the foundation, and so many things you do it, right? You can't definitely avoid impacting the environment. You cannot, simply cannot. But what is that then the sustainability is all about? Our environmental or green building, green concept is all about. You cannot avoid that impacting the environment. How you minimize the impact to the lowest level is called the green building concept, sustainability concept, or anything you can call it as. That is a fundamental principle of green building or sustainability. You cannot avoid the development or growth. But at the same time, how by adapting the green principles, sustainability principles, you can able to minimize that impact to the environment, the surrounding is called a green building concept, sustainability concept. Do you get my point? Actually, say one person yes, or I will expand this further. You say yes or no. Anyone can answer.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it means, I'm giving the definition, the development of the infrastructure or anything is unavoidable for various reasons. One, for economic growth. Number two, the urbanization. We are all civil engineers. We know how urbanization is taking place nowadays. The urbanization is at the current level 54%, and it is going to grow further. If that is the case, why urbanization? Why people are moving towards urban, or the nearby cities are getting urbanized? Say, for example, Chennai. Now, recent announcement of the government, the corporation, Tambaram is becoming corporation, Chengalpattu is becoming corporation. For example, Kanjipuram, like that, the cities are becoming corporation. Why? Because the urbanization is taking place. The people started coming towards urban places. Why? Because of employment, because of their business, because of their studies, or various other parameters. So you cannot avoid urbanization also. So you have to support the urbanization activities. You have to support this development of infrastructure, buildings, and all those activities. These are all the things you can't avoid, right? Which is to be definitely managed, which has to be done. If that is the case, this particular sustainability angle, green building angle, if you adopt, the impact to the environment will become minimal. That is simple logic of understanding green building concept or sustainability concept. Suppose come to the other point. Now talk about only sustainability. See, you need to understand, now you need power. You need land for construction. You need power for running that commercial building, IT building, campus, institution, anything you call it as that. But for that, you are taking a lot of oil and many other coal, many things to produce your power requirement and all. By means of doing this, what will happen over a period of time? The natural resources will get depleted. At some point of time, it will go nil, right? The situation will come very soon. Maybe 100 years down the line, or 120 years down the line, 70 years down the line. But that means what? It will definitely it will impact the future generation. Your own children, your own families in the future, they will all be unnecessarily getting impacted. So without impacting them, what is that you have to do? You natural resources like diesel, oil, coal, everything. You minimize it. How will you minimize it? Your power requirement is going up day by day because of your factories are coming up, buildings are coming up. You have to increase. But at the same time, you have to minimize the impact. How will you do that? The only method of using renewable sources, renewable energy sources is a handy thing. Thereby, you can able to minimize the removal or usage of the coal, oil, and other things. That is also called sustainable approach. So, by means of using alternate sources, renewable sources, you can able to minimize the impact to the future generation. Yes or no? Similarly, I'll talk about another one subject, water. Water is also another major commodity today. which is also very sensitive. Today, availability of water, there is a logic. There is one statement people call it as, if you have 100 liters of water, which how much quantum of water is usable means only 1%. Because I'm talking about overall water availability in the universe. Predominantly, the major part is available in the form of glaciers, seawater, and all those things. There are other type of waters which are river and other beds actually, which are also considered to be water bodies. If you compare all those water available, sea, glaciers, or anything you can call it as, only 1% is available for you, the fresh water which is available for us to consume. So in that case, the people population is increasing, demand for water consumption is increasing. Can you avoid that? You can't avoid that. Because the air conditioning plant, if you go and put up, there are water cooled chillers to create air conditioning for the office space. So if that is kind of requirement is there on the power requirement, what we have to do, water requirement, what we have to do, there are only other two ways of doing that. One, you can reuse the wastewater which is coming up out of your buildings, toilets, urinals, or plants, or anything. You reuse the water by treating the water in your own campus. Like for example, in buildings, in high-rise IT buildings, what we do, the sewage water, all those wastewater is coming, it is being treated, and we use the treated water in flush and urinals, landscaping. So no fresh water is required. This is the concept in general. In addition to that, my dear friends, today, because of various technologies available in waste sewage treatment system, like a micro membrane bioreactive system, MBR system, we call it as membrane bioreactive and refrigeration system. So many systems are available today that treated water is even used in cooling towers. I'm giving one example. In Singapore kind of companies where we are from, we use that sewage water to that extent of treated even for portable purpose. You don't require to buy water from shops and other places in Singapore. You can just simply open the tap from the wash basin and drink it. But that water is what water, your sewage water treated to that level of quality. So everything is required to be recycled, treated, and reused. So why I'm giving example, my dear friends, these kind of commodities, this kind of energy and water or anything else, if you call it as, you have consumption is going upwards, going up only. But at the same time, the alternate way of retreating or using the power and all those things will minimize the removal of natural resources from the ground, like coal, whatever we call it as water or oils and all those things. Thereby, it is available for longer duration for the future generation. This is the principle of sustainability. Understood? Understood? Okay. Coming to the world, whatever I spoke, I'm just going to expand it a little more. You see the world now, how it is looking like. You see the right side picture, how congested the buildings are built and all those things are there. And what is the syndrome? The problem actually is that, this is the definition actually. Sustainable building, below, you see the statement below. Sustainable green building is one which uses less water, optimizes energy efficiency, conserves natural resources. What are the natural resources we are talking about? Water, oil, coal, anything. Conserves natural resources, generates less waste, and provides a healthier space for occupants or anybody occupying the building as compared to conventional building. This is called a sustainable green building. I'll expand this statement with some examples. When those days people were living, they used to have an open space. For example, if you go to any kind of villages or any kind of towns those days, what happens is that you have large space around that house. We call it as like, breathing space. We have a place for trees, place for playing, place for anything. But if you look at it, when the people are now confining into a city or any place, the same comfort should be there for the people, right? So, for example, now coming to one building, I'm talking about one office building, IT park. I'm going to give an example of one building, which is Ascendas building, assuming that CapitaLand building. In Taramani, we have some 2 million square feet. 21,000 people are working in that building. And all the 4 walls are closed with the glass, this, that, because air conditioned. So if you look at that, the person working in the premise inside the room compared to what the person working outside that, open area, there are distinct differences, right? Physically, this fellow is working inside the building, the other person is working outside the building. The outside the building, for example, village, agriculture, all those people, they get fresh air to breathe. They get fresh sunlight, natural lighting in their house and all those things. Whereas a person who is working inside the office will have to also live, will also breathe, will have to also have the same comfort of working, lighting, everything, right? For which the buildings are designed in such a way which is also having natural lighting, which is also having a good air to breathe. For example, the air conditioned treatment, water, air circulation in the building is also provided with adequate oxygen level so that the person is not feeling fatigue or tired. So that means what I'm trying to say, at the same time, you have to give them the water, everything for them to be healthier working space. The underlying statement is this: it provides healthier space, workspace. Even in the hotel, for example, you go and work, stay in a hotel, or why you got to go? You go to theater, even movie theaters. The persons are sitting there for 3 hours watching the movie and all are coming out. That fellow also should not feel fatigue. What is that one has to do is create that environment in such a way it provides the necessary, healthy working space or livable space. Then that person will not have fatigue. That is called a sustainable green building. By how will you do that? Various green building principles you have to adopt. Is it understandable? Okay, coming to the point. Very next point, what I can put it actually relating to the civil engineers. Can anyone answer me? All the students are civil engineering students in the call now? Or any other discipline is there?
Yes, sir. Different disciplines of faculty actually.
Oh, faculties. Okay. Now touch it upon why I am talking about it. My apologies. This is a faculty. This one, all disciplines people are there. Is that what it is?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I am just going to talk about a little bit on civil side, and I will also connect mechanical. Which are the discipline faculties are there? Can you just highlight it to me, please? Mechanical, electrical.
Yes, sir. CSC, computer science.
Okay. Why I am asking here, it is not sustainability is not only civil engineering subject. That is why I want to connect with all others also. I'm just checking with you. Okay, fine, good.
Multidisciplinary, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So my submission to all of you is that we have to look at various aspects like structural design efficiency, energy efficiency, water efficiency, material efficiency, waste and toxic reduction. Now I'm going to talk one typical department called Electronics and Communication Department and Computer Science Engineering Department. I'm going to talk specifically one question. Anybody is having answer to me, just highlight it. What is that, the typical e-waste that a computer engineering organization, computer IT organization, IT business, or electronics and hardware business, manufacturing or whatever you call it as, that will generate? Can anyone just give me some sort of 1 or 2, 3 names actually? What are the e-waste possibilities? Anyone? Just let us be interactive. Let us be interactive. Let us not be confining to presentation alone. Please. You can come into the video and speak to me also. Please be free. because it is. That's why I told you I am not going to take that into straightforward only theoretical. Please come forward and speak to me. What are the potential e-waste that an IT company or a computer software engineers business is bringing out, or electronics people bringing out? What are the typical e-waste?
All electronic gadgets, including cells, mobile cells, mobiles.
Absolutely correct. Leave aside on the electronics and side, I can take it. These are all mobile instruments or whatever it is. But IT people, they use printers, computers, and many other things. You know how much quantum of e-waste being generated every year in large campuses? Huge. When it is basically not processed or managed appropriately, it is going to impact that the subsoil conditions drastically, contaminate that groundwater, and many other impacts. Actually, I can put it very simple, my dear friends. In this particular situation, I am visualizing, unless otherwise we manage that waste from any campus, any kind of buildings, it will be very serious thing. For example, some of that faculty members or professors or other institutions, other institutions also, not only yours, are focusing a kind of a startups. They mainly focus on 2-3 areas in the recent past. I'm seeing actually is that focusing on e-waste processing, which is very critical. In fact, those days, what happens, when I started my this one real estate related, IT park later in the year 2000 onwards, right from tidal period onwards, I'm in this industry. If you look at it, those days we only collect the e-waste, put it to a kind of a disposable agency. It will take it to Singapore and through ships and all those things, and they will process, they will do everything. If that is pushed on, our responsibility is over. Now the situation has changed a lot. In fact, it is not a waste. It is a wealth producer. Actually, whatever you give it, it is a getting converted into money for us. Even I'm just telling you, for example, it is one waste I talked about it. If you talk about IT buildings or any other buildings or factories, there are multiple waste types of waste available: metal waste, paper waste, wet waste, and so on. So many things. Now, what happens? Even for example, case study I'm giving from my side, from our office. Actually, the entire waste is getting converted into usable products. For example, paper waste. You won't believe. I'm going to say something. You'll be really surprised. In a campus of 21,000 people working campus, or in my earlier organization, 51,000 people were working. Ramanujan IT City every day. You know how much quantum of paper we get every month? It used to be in tons, actually. So what we did, we have tied up with the paper industry, ITC, Bhadrachalam, your own, nearer to your place, hopefully, right? Bhadrachalam is nearer to your place, somewhere? Andhra, right? It is?
Yes, sir. It comes in.
So, Telangana state, sorry. So what happens, those people we tied up, they come, pick it up, take it and process it and gives us two kinds of things. One, we collect in the form of notebooks and give it as a CSR for various schools. Or they give it in the form of money that we will use it for education, students, or some CSR purposes. What I'm trying to say is the paper is getting recycled and reused. Likewise, if you talk about any other waste, I can tell you, we have recently installed one equipment, but unfortunately I have to search for that. I didn't have the picture. We have one particular equipment whereby all the waste are getting automatically segregated, like metal waste, like plastic waste, like all those things. And those things are all in turn also processed in such a way, those are all produced, actually used for producing blocks. If it is a paper and plastic and all those things, we used to prepare the bins, stools, panels, wall panels, bathroom partition panels, or kind of things are getting produced in the same campus itself and reused. Like recently, you would have seen some of the WhatsApp messages are somewhere. The plastic waste is used for converting into blocks, construction blocks. Hello?
Your slideshow is not appearing.
Oh, it's not appearing. Okay, sorry. Okay, so basically, what happens? It is basically that kind of recycling is a concept which is evolving right now in various campuses. My dear friends, what I'm trying to say is the waste, converting waste into wealth. Nowadays, it is called waste into wealth, is what we are talking about it, instead of just throwing it off somewhere else. In Chennai Corporation, I'm just giving another example. You know, certain locations are dump yards. We call it as dump yards. There is one place called Pallikaranai that is in nearer to YMR Road. It used to be the dump yard. Now, the corporation itself installed this segregation equipment. It means every truck comes in, they will put it into that segregator. There is a conveyor, it takes up to that certain level, and all the materials are segregated, which are recyclable in nature, which are decomposable in nature. All those things are segregated and it is treated up accordingly. These things are evolving, my dear friends. Why it is required? Because not only water, not only energy, this waste also is going to literally hit us badly when urbanization is taking place. So all these factors are to be addressed appropriately, otherwise it is going to be a major disaster over a period of time. Similarly, I will talk about one typical case, energy efficiency. Energy efficiency, how many of you have come across the renewable power sources? Can you say 1, 2, 3 names? What are the things, what are the types of renewable energy sources available today? Because I'm
solar.
Yes. What else?
Geothermal, biogas, biomass.
Okay. Right. Fantastic. Very correct. Very correct. So can someone tell me what exactly it means by geothermal? Why I am asking this? There is a logic behind this. Theoretically, many of us have come across geothermal. But at the same time, there are two ways of looking at it because it is not very popularly in use. I can put it like this, like solar, like wind, this geothermal is not very popularly in use. But why? Because there are certain underground conditions that makes a kind of a challenge. But good that somebody told me that name of geothermal, which is going to be very quantitative basis. If you look at it, it's going to be high quantum use in the near future. One more production also I want to highlight actually, which is in the tidal sources. For example, tidal source, what we are talking about, underground water current usage for producing this power also, which is going to be very popularly brought in the near future. For example, seawater, they are going to use the seawater for converting into energy. So that is very seriously discussed because it requires high capex, but if you look at the payback period, it is very low. And if it is going to be the voluminous requirement, it is very huge because sea quantum is very large in our what I'm told that 2/3 or 3/4 of the area is covered with water. So we have beautiful source of seawater. Seawater source is also going to be one of the sources for producing renewable energy now. That is also one of the things which I thought I can touch it upon. How many of you heard passive energy and active energy savings measures? How many of you have come across? Because faculty members are there, because electrical members are there. Probably they would have come across active and passive energy efficiency measures. Anybody want to say anything on that? Okay, I'll put it like this. There are two ways of looking at this. One is called energy efficient equipment selection. Other one is you are calling it as energy efficient way of operating. For example, if you choose the equipments in such a way which are energy efficient, that is one part. Second is that you also build the buildings in such a way which is naturally lit to the extent of 70% of the building is naturally lit. And even for example, I can put it some of the equipments. You are also using this VFD, variable frequency drive, or EC motors instead of AC DC motors, EC motors. All those things are also now very common. My dear faculty members, I can very openly say this. This is going to be the future, which IGBC, I belong to IGBC, Indian Green Building Council, we are promoting very heavily both active and passive energy efficient measures, which is definitely going to make a difference in terms of overall consumption pattern of any building or any kind of city. This is also one of the things you can able to go through or study a little more, so that you will be finding a lot of usages for that actually. And next one is, I can put it one more important thing for all of you to understand. The design of the building is one part. The operation of the building is another part. I don't want to talk about sustainability general theory because you all know about it. What is that I want to give you that experience now is that one terminology called life cycle cost. Have you heard about life cycle cost? Anyone? Anyone say yes or no? I will take it up from there because I want to expand that little more if you don't know that subject, or if you are already aware, I will touch it up lightly, I mean little, and go off. Can anyone say, have you come across life cycle cost or no? No, right? The answer is no. Okay, fantastic. I just tell you, one equipment you are buying for your house. I'm taking an example for your house. I'm from your house. One air conditioning system. You are buying one air conditioner, okay? Or a simple geyser. You take it up by air conditioner. Your air conditioner cost is capital cost. You call it as you are buying that equipment from the market, which will be about 25,000 rupees, assuming hypothetically. And it is going to be used in your house for 10 years at least. You will use it for 10 years at least. You will be running the AC every night or whatever the time you want to run and all. That consumes more power, correct? And it would also be maintained, annual maintenance contract. Sometime you should change some mesh or whatever it is, you will be doing it. That is called operation and maintenance. The one is called CapEx. If you look at these two components, I'm just combining annual maintenance contract and operation together. The power consumption for air conditioner to be run for 6 hours, 8 hours, or 12 hours in the night or day, whatever it is, the same air conditioner. That life cycle, that entire 10 years is called the life cycle of the equipment. The energy consumption for the equipment for the 10 years and the initial capex of that AC, if you compare, this will be something like about 70 to 80%, the operation, energy consumption, repairs, maintenance, everything. But only capital cost is 10 to 15% or 20%. It means, when I'm talking one example, if you come to the factory, buildings like our IT parks, one equipment we buy, one chiller, big chiller, 300 TR chiller. It will cost, for example, about 1 crore, assuming hypothetically. But when I run that for 24 hours, because unlike your house, you will run this chiller and all for 18 hours, 24 hours like that. When you run that, the total cost for that running is how much, you know? 8 crores in 10 years or 15 years. So in the life cycle of 10 years or 15 years, the capital cost is only 1 year, 1 crore, whereas my operating energy, whatever I spend for that equipment running, is 8 crores. So 80% or 85% is that additional operating cost. So you, in that case, what is the critical here? You buying equipment today, considering capital value is not adequate, not important. But looking at the equipment which is going to run for so many years, we should be efficient. It means if you are reducing the energy consumption, choosing the right equipment, providing right fixtures like a variable frequency drive or EC motors, all those things, you can, one thing, extend the life cycle of the equipment. Second is, can reduce the consumption of energy. It means your capital cost is minimum, your operating cost is going to be 8 times or 9 times. If you concentrate on that equipment selection and that proper, what do you call it as mechanism, you can able to reduce that overall cost. That is called a life cycle cost. You choose that equipment to be bought not only with the capital value, but also on the overall life cycle operating cost. It means you choose an equipment which uses less energy, which is having more lifespan, then automatically this will be beneficial for the campus. That is called a life cycle cost. Anyone has any doubt in this? Because this is the first of its kind. I'm telling you, we are coming up with every building design, every building construction, every equipment selection, life cycle cost based design. You bring any equipment to your place, it is designed in such a way, not capital cost alone, but also considering the lifespan, life cycle cost. Have anyone has any question here? I stop here because this is very, very important. You will be definitely having advantage of talking about it to outside world. Anybody has any doubt on this? So the intention of me saying this is that the concept of life cycle cost, selection of equipments, designing of the buildings, designing of equipments, or you can call anything, is critical, is critically viewed nowadays. There is a relevance to this subject of topic also what we discussed. If your sustainability is the question we are talking about it, when you are able to look at that, reducing the energy consumption or expanding the life cycle of that equipment, both ways it is supporting the sustainability angle. That is what I have.
Excuse me,
Yeah,
sir.
Yes,
Is there any, demarcation or threshold that where when we do life cycle analysis, this will be like sustainable, this will not be like sustainable, like that any demarcation or any threshold point
Okay.
is there, sir?
I tell you one thing. This is very simple logic. Every equipment you go and buy from your market or anything, they will give you one graph. Basically, why I have to tell you that? You can know that now 3-star, 5-star rated air conditioners are coming in the market, right? If you go in depth and they will propose, this is what the pattern of energy consumption. This is what that star rating is all about for air conditioners or any kind of equipments. The threshold is very simple. There is a baseline, which is a conventional, versus 3-star, 5-star. What is that improvement they will be declaring in terms of energy efficiency? It is practically energy efficiency. They declare energy efficiency. That is where you can able to differentiate what is that you want to choose, where you want to, what is that item you want to buy. Baseline, they will give you the graph. Number one, forget it for a moment. I always believe you are the person to create a base case for you, a baseline for you, and benchmark for you. That is why I always say, whenever I address to faculty members, whenever I speak to any kind of professors or anybody, even I'm very happy to share this in the recent past. This is not to be quoted, only this close circle. I mean, what I'm going to say is something very interesting to you. If you are interested to create some improvement for your own innovation, you need to compare something. I agree with you. But that comparison is your own, then it will be much more satisfying thing. Yes or no? For example, incidentally, I don't know, I mean, I have to respectfully mention this. I have done my research under one of the very dynamic professors. I don't know whether he is in the call or not. But
Sir, I agree with you, sir.
రాజు గారు
Sir, sorry, we disconnected, na?
I think he has the network issues.
Yeah. Shall I call, sir? I will call.
Hey, call him. I'm extremely sorry. I think some network issue in between. Sorry, faculty members. My apologies.
Yes. Yeah, now again, connected, sir. No problem. Thank you.
Yeah. So where I dropped out? Any just information for me? Where I dropped out?
That LCA,
Life cycle cost.
life cycle analysis.
Okay, so my submission is that when I was building this Ramanujan ITCT, it was almost like about 4.7 million square feet of office space with almost 3 million square feet of parking, 3 basement, 2 stilt, so massive campus. My dear friends, what I did actually was that was the first time we introduced one concept called alliance approach that was never been there before in India, which is called alliance approach, relationship contracting methodology. Why I connect this, I tell you later. That alliance method means a collaborative contract methodology. It means the developer, that is the initial, the funding people, then the consultants, the contractor, main contractor, all those people join hands together with a common objective of creating this facility with this cost, with this timeline. That's all the objective is. With that approach, we have joined hands together. No boss, no subordinate approach. It was very successful project on that approach. I'll talk about it later separately in another session. When we adopted that, why I'm saying that, when we were all deliberating that particular approach, I mean that design of that building campus, we kept three things in mind. One, whether we are going to compare Tidal Park or Ascendus Park, any other building, we said no. Then what is that we are going to keep it to ourselves? What is that the customer's experience will be in my premise? That is the benchmark. Mr. Raju, I'm answering to you a little differently. Comparison is required when you want to reach a certain level and you use it for your learning, no problem. But when you want to benchmark yourself, you keep that customer or the end user or whomever you are going to delighted, keep that in mind and think on that directions. That is where for the first time in Ramanujan City, when I was designing and building the campus, we have come up with the podium concept. The podium concept is at the fifth level, that is 3 basement, 2 stilt above the ground floor starts. That is from road level, it was almost like 4-5 meters above, connected all the 6 blocks of 4.7 million square feet, 48,000, 50,000 people working campus, having a podium, connecting podium there, and almost people can sit and walk to the extent of a kilometer in that particular level, one level, fifth level. That's a concept we created. What is that concept going to make a difference? That is what made the difference for compared to any other competitors. That building
got 106 rupees of rental per square foot per month compared to whatever that nearby rental of 70 rupees, 65 rupees by the competitors. Not only financial angle, highly successful, sustainable building it is. Still, what I am trying to say is, to answer to you, Mr. Raju, you keep the benchmark. One, compare all those things, baseline. There is a theoretically, you can able to compare the baselines with ASHRAE standards, as the ECBC norms. Everything is available for you. But when you want to do something very differently, you keep the benchmark of your imagination in your mind, or some sort of target in your mind, and go beyond that. That will make you different.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
In this particular thing, I want to touch it upon, not related to technical, for the faculty members and all these participants in this call. I'm going to give one statement, which is not relating to technical, but I'm telling you this statement will take you for a different level altogether. The statement is like this: doing different things is important. Doing different things is important means you may study, you may teach, you may play, you may be parent, you may be anything. Doing different things is important in life, but doing things differently matters. Did you understand the statement? Doing different things is important. Definitely, no questions. If you are preparing for your coaching, you have to study, you have to prepare the notes, you have to prepare the question bank, you can prepare the answer bank, you can call it as anything. That is important for doing different things. You have to do it for your business. But doing things differently matters. It means if you create a difference in your preparation or in your presentation and in your communication, that will make you as a different professor altogether. This is the simple statement, my dear friends in the call. Please take it up. It is applicable to any level. If I am in the business, I am also building the building. There is my competitor also building the building. There is another contractor also building the building. There is an individual also building the building and selling it off or leasing it off. But what way Velan's building is going to be different for the end users makes a difference. That is a logic. Everybody, we have to do buildings. Okay, so many people are doing that. No problem. I also do a lot of buildings. I have to do many things. Is important for my business. But if I do it differently, like I told, the podium concept, first of its kind in Chennai, and it was considered to be the highest rent yielding asset across India for so many years, even today. That made the difference. That is made the business successful. That is what I'm trying to say here. Doing different things is important, but doing things differently matters. It makes you different from others. That is one logic statement. It's nothing to do with our conversation today, subject today. But since because you are all faculty members, I thought I can just tell this statement, which will be useful for you probably.
Yes, sir. Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Again, making the statement once again for noting down. Doing
Very good,
different
Mr.
things is important, but doing things differently matters. That's generally, I thought I can put it to you people for your just noting. Okay, coming back to our subject of sustainability, my dear friends. Sustainability is, when you look at it, as I mentioned, logically, this is need of the hour. There is no question at all. I'm going to talk about a little bit on the economic side of it. In India, if you look at it in India, we have currently, I can put it currently, commercial building alone. You talk about office building, you talk about IT buildings. Generally, I'm talking only that. Leave aside residential, leave aside retail malls, leave aside any other institutional building, leave aside that. Only commercial building, if you look at it, you know how much volume we have in India? Anybody, any guess? In India? Any guess? Any guess from anybody? Okay, in Chennai alone, how much commercial building is there? Any idea? Any guess? Or in your in your Hyderabad or in Vijayawada, wherever it is, any idea? In Chennai, I just tell you, about 60 million square feet is available currently. In India, in totality, 670 million square feet is available. You know how much volume of power requirement, water requirement and all. And still we are in the growth phase. In one particular segment, you talk about residential segment, you talk about retail malls, you talk about institutional buildings, you talk about manufacturing buildings. Enormous volume of development is going to happen. And whether the prediction is like this, for next 1.5 decades, this growth will go in the same pace. Even though we call it as pandemic, we call it as this kind of situations are momentary, is a temporary, because the way the growth phase is projected in the overall scenario, it is going to be substantial growth for next 1.5 decades. And having said that, you all know about it, the Prime Minister's announcement and the respective state government's announcement in terms of residential growth. Everyone should have a house, a shelter for them. That is a kind of projections are there. So if that is going to be the situation, how much voluminous growth is going to be there for us in the near future or in the next 15 years? Substantial. When we are looking at the substantial growth of all these segments, you know where the challenging thing I'm going to tell you now is that today, how much volume of buildings are there? I told you. How much is the green building certified buildings? You know, can you just guess how much percentage is the green building certified today? 5%. Only 5% of the buildings are certified as green buildings today. Unfortunately, it is a situation. So it means what? There is a substantial focus on sustainability, environment, or environment focused is definitely required. If you look at, as I mentioned, doesn't stop at any discipline. You can call it as CSE, you can call it as civil, you can call it as a computer, you can call it as electronics, you can call any department, any discipline. There is a contribution of those engineers, those faculties, those people into focusing on sustainability. It's not there any one discipline only to look at it like that. So sustainability is a common language across all disciplines. When you talk about it to your students or anybody, you need to talk about sustainability across board. There's no question at all. In IGBC, particularly what we are projecting actually is that we have almost 27 certifications available today for green buildings. You know, can you think of green building, as I mentioned to you, which will use less power, less energy, less water, everything less, and provide a healthier environment to live or work, right? That's what sustainable green building I told you. When you are looking at it, if in terms of this voluminous growth, what we are envisaging, already we are only having 5% of buildings only certified green buildings. That means you are going to have growth also substantially in next 15 years. To cater to the need of that green building requirements, IGBC, Indian Green Building Council, has come up with various certifications. Certification is for office building, certification for residential building, certification for institutional building, certification for retail building, certification for hospital building, certification for hospitality sector, hotels and other building. You can name any building. We have a detailed documents for that, how to design and get the building certified as a green building. In turn, while you build the green buildings, what is the advantage of it? It is going to provide that lesser impact to the environment. Thereby, you can able to support the sustainability focus. That is a fundamental principle with which every kind of development, you name any building, factory building, data center building, or you name any building, we have come up with the proper guidelines how to design a green building of your required level. Required level, what does it mean? There are 4 levels we have: platinum level, gold level, silver level, and simply certified level. It means to that extent you can able to design the building by adding extra features to that. That is a 4 level of certification available for all the buildings you name, any building. To my knowledge, we have already provided for every kind of development, including college buildings, institutional buildings. We have green building certification. So what I am trying to say in between something, I brought it to your noting because there is a huge infrastructure development is projected in our country. And by doing so, one more thing also I want to give a point to all these attendees actually is that there is one more thing which is called accredited professionals, green accredited professionals, which is also through a kind of a coaching process or a kind of your own self-coaching process, which you can do it through IGBC, in the Indian Green Building Council. If you go and see the website, you can able to see igbc.in.co.in, I think. So if you go inside, you have reading materials, how to register for accredited professional, how to get certified, how to get qualified, everything. What is the prediction? Why I'm saying, when you are talking to your students, whomever is just getting the final year or something like that, they can just study that also. When they come out of the college, it is a matter of 3 months or 4 months. If they go through thoroughly, they will be easily getting qualified as accredited professionals. When they are getting out of the college, they will also have that additional qualification of IGBC AP certification, accredited professional certification, so that he will stand out differently in the market. That is also, I'm just adding since because most of the faculty members are there in the call. So I just want to mention few things in between so that to break the monotony of the conversation, whatever we are having. Is that okay? Is it clear? Any doubt at this stage, please? Anything you can stop and ask for it, because as I mentioned to you, again, I'm telling you, it is not a theoretical, just a kind of discussion. This is one thing I want to touch it upon. You know, architecture, there is a terminology called passive architecture. Are you able to see the screen now? This is called Hawa Mahal in Jaipur. Have you seen this picture by somebody, some other speaker? They have shown this picture.
No, sir.
This is called Hawa Mahal in Jaipur. That is in the old city of Jaipur. I have personally lived over there for 3.5 years in Jaipur. Before coming to Chennai, I was in Eicher Motors, Royal Enfield motorcycle plant. I was putting a plant in Jaipur. That time we were living in Jaipur for 3.5 years. So I have personally felt very thrilled after seeing this building. It is just a kind of a curved building, little bit curved. It is not really curved. It is a slab, relatively flat, but little curved in nature. And you see that the windows, small, tiny windows everywhere in the building, in the front facade. What does it provide actually is, this is a air it is coming in and it is flowing direction out. In between, it is having a venturi action. Because of that, what happens? The air is also getting little cold, and at the same time, it is abandoned inside the house, inside the mall. Inside, if you go to the Hawa Mahal, inside, it will be like air-conditioned building, beautiful in Jaipur, even in the hot summer period, 48, 49 kind of temperature you get it, but at that point of time also, if you go inside the building, it will be like a luxurious air-conditioned building. It is called Venturi effect. I want to talk to you people because you are all, faculties. You know how it works. Venturi action works. So this is a typical case study for passive architecture. It applies to any kind of engineering. My friends, for example, when you are designing a plumbing system for a building, or air conditioning ducting for a building, or a kind of a, what do you call it as, one more flow, what will be there in a building, any kind of fire protection system in a building, this concept of venturi effect or chimney, exhaust chimney for a diesel generator or something, the venturi action works. This is a common terminology. Actually, this is another passive architecture example, how a mud pot, actually a small tubes have been used for creating this, cooling the water from other side, jolly approach. So many things I will just pass on very quickly. I don't want to share. This is very interesting. In the left, this one is called South India Mein Chettinad houses. If you look at it, there used to be a place called Open to Sky, which is called Thoti Muttam or something like that. They call it as actually. This is open to sky. This is a place where you get air circulation into the building, lighting, natural lighting into the building. It is a very, very interesting. Those days, it is a Chettinad housing. They call it as courtyard approach. It is applicable even for new buildings. You see Morocco, Mexico, everywhere this concept was existing. Similar thing, courtyard approach in the new buildings, in the new, IT building, or you can call it as the same concept is evolving now. You can go and the entire building, they call it as centrally atrium. They call it as atrium. In the center of the building, it goes up to through height of the building actually. That is also called the courtyard approach. This is another courtyard approach. You see central portion. All around the buildings are very, very large floor plate, but central portion is open to sky. And sky means it may be having a kind of space frame roof over there, but it will give you lighting and the air circulation. You see this? These are all called passive architecture. It provides light, it provides circulation of air, and at the same time, modern. Are you able to see the pictures? Are you? Say yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Many things. Passive architecture, I'm talking because it will reduce circulation of air. This is another interesting thing. Heat exchangers. Typical, this used to be a kind of tunnel approach. You will be having a soil. Underneath, there will be a kind of excavation, and then there is a piping system. What happens in the atmospheric side, the air is pushed inside actually into the trench. Thereby, the hot air is pushed down and there is a fresh air coming inside so that it is not hot. If it is a closed room, for more number of hours, if you are inside, your own breathing, your own thing will create that warmth in that room, right? This kind of concept, heat exchangers, this is there in those days. This is Gangakonda Shorapuram temple. You see now how those people designed those days. Passive architecture, earth cooling techniques. This is a modern building. The same concept. Wind catcher, this is another interesting thing. From the atmosphere, it is pushed down, and that hot air, cold air combination. Beautiful concepts those days. In my opinion, actually, the environmental pollution is a major cause, and many deadly diseases are created now. The sustainable development is definitely a must for protecting that kind of situation also, my dear friends. Leave aside energy, leave aside water. Now I'm going towards the present scenario. Present scenario is a pandemic, right? When you talk about current scenario, this sustainability helps a lot. How it is done? You have to have a lot of creativity in your mind. Reducing the pollution is one of the important things. Reducing the water treatment system mechanism, so many things, very, very important. This is one of the things which will create that kind of atmosphere for you. If you have a lot of green in the terrace level, what do you call it, as hanging plants and all those things, this will eradicate a lot of impacts in terms of carbon footprint, because the heat load is less coming to downwards. Thereby, you are also protecting the consumption of energy level. Air conditioning level is enough, so that you can able to reduce the carbon footprint. Some pictures I'll just show you. I don't want to talk much because you all know about it. See, in the beginning, I told you, various levels the people can concentrate on sustainability. One is the design level, then pre-construction level, procurement level. What I told procurement, right type of equipments, which is less energy efficient, material you buy outside facade equipment or blocks and all, which is going to absorb less heat. So procurement level, Construction level also you can able to do the sustainable way. For example, when you are digging the soil, remove the topsoil, store it separately because that is having more organic content, which will be used for landscaping and all. And whatever material you are getting below the soil, use it for filling up within your own campus and many other things. Construction may, the dusting will be there, you sprinkle the wastewater and all those things. The construction time also you can, so that our surrounding is not impacted. Then commissioning time, occupancy time, operation management time, every time the sustainable solutions are considered. This is one thing I want to tell the faculty members. Before getting into the two topics I want to cover, how long I have time, Mr. Raju?
Up to 2:45, sir.
Okay, I'll take it up for a little more, 15, 20, 30 minutes or whatever the time records for this topic. Very important thing I want to touch it upon. Before getting into net zero concept, I want to stay over there because sustainability is all about considering, as I mentioned, summarizing the statement, use that whatever is required for your current living without impacting the future generations' requirement. That is sustainable way of managing things. I told how buildings are built, energy efficiency, water efficiency, waste management, or you call anything is important. And that kind of thing can be done at every level of the life cycle of the project, design level, or procurement level, or construction level, or handing over level, or operational level. You can do this sustainable focus. I stay over there. This is a summary of whatever we discussed last 1 hour or 1 hour plus. Can you just ask me some questions if you have? Otherwise, I have one more important thing to discuss is net zero. I just park for 1 minute here. Any questions? Okay. I ask you one small thing with all of you before getting into that. Can anyone say, so far whatever we discussed makes sense to I mean carry something with you, or anything is not that relevant? If you don't mind, it's for my own correction. Don't mind, because we are not academicians, we are all industrial people, so we may not be talking the same language of what you people are. But does it make sense whatever I spoke so far, or anything is going out of track or something like that? Please
No,
be
sir.
open, be
Not
frank
at all.
with me. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We are trying with you, and it's really interesting, sir. Many things related to our this one environment sustainability need of the day you have been explaining, sir. It's very interesting.
Sure. ठीक है. No problem. I'm thankful to that. Why I was asking this question is that basically, Sunita ji, do you find it meaningful, Sunita ji? Are you there? You're on mute.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. So, madam, what I am going to talk about furthermore with all your support is that on the net zero. How many of you heard about net zero? What exactly it means? I will start talking about it. Have you come across or no? That's all I want. Have you come across net zero, net positive?
Net zero energy, net zero pollution, like that we came across, sir.
Right. Anybody else?
Same, sir.
Sunita ji? I didn't hear you.
Just we heard that, sir, but not completely.
Or not to that extent. Thank you very much. Why I asked this question? Because I can go to that extent in depth. That is the only reason I was asking. Don't take it otherwise. Actually, yeah. Now coming to the point, I'm going to talk about it on the net zero. What exactly you understand by net zero means? Whatever is required for the building, it is generated there only. That is called a net zero. Very simple. For me, example, I want to run a building. Today I want lighting power, I want air conditioning power. I want power for external lighting. I want a power for running STP plant. I want power for running the water pump. I want a power for what I can say, putting on the diesel pump or whatever it is. I need in a building so much of power requirement. Understandable? Say yes. The requirement of power for a building is of various kinds. Lighting, air conditioning, external lighting, water pump, sewage treatment plant, you name anything. You name anything. You need power. Yes or no? If that is the case, the power is not taken from the grid, TNEB or any other grid. You generate in your own place and consume in your own place. Is called net zero. You don't buy power from outside. That is the situation. If you are in a net zero building. Am I making it clear to you? For example, you have a building, you have a roof, you have side walls, you have open areas, you can put solar panels and whatever the method and generate power and use that power for your building in the form of batteries or in the form of direct usage, whatever it is. You don't draw power from outside building. Is called net zero building. You forget about what the definitions are. Simple language. You produce a power for your own campus running the cavern. How will you do that? Only way available for you is that either you got to go for solar in your terrace, in your building, or you have to go for wind if at all you have a large campus or something like that. So the net zero building produces enough renewable energy to meet its own annual energy consumption requirement, thereby reducing the use of non-renewable energy in the building. Does it make sense? It is if it is one building, what I told was correct. If it is multiple building, a big township with big campus, also it applies. It's not a building alone. You put that this one wherever you have open areas, wherever you have vertical walls or your roof and all those things, you can use that solar panels, all those things, and create not only solar panels but also alternative means wind or anything. Use that power for your building. It is called a net zero building. Is it clear? Is it clear or any doubt here? So that we can expand a little more on this.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Understood.
So this is what is called a net zero building. Cheri, how and all you can do it? What are all the possibilities? How you can do that? There are various methods available today. For example, one is again, if you look at it, building location and orientation of the building, actually, building layout, window design, insulation, thermal mass, shading, ventilation, renewable energy usage in the building. It's not only by means of solar you can able to do 100%. Practically difficult. It's not impossible. Practically difficult. But if you adopt all these parameters, passive design parameters, this is also going to add your energy consumption reduction. Thereby, if you need some 1000 kilowatt hour units, if you design the buildings in such a way, you are able to reduce 20% of the energy consumption. 20% of the energy consumption. Then to that extent, you can reduce the solar panels in the terrace. Or if you are not having space at all to produce, that 80% will help you to take care of the building's total energy requirement. Understood? So various methods of adopting what you can call it as net zero concept. And one more interesting thing I tell you before getting into that, there are various types of solar panels started coming nowadays. More efficient systems are coming in right now. Have you heard about it? It is just like a 3M film. The solar panels are coming now. Do you know that? In vertical buildings, In the walls itself, you can paste the glass itself. You can paste that particular film that will generate that power for your building actually, instead of the flat roof in the top. You can also do that. Your solar farm, you can also go with open areas, a kind of a deck, a 2-deck, 3-deck farm, and it will also change the direction through towards the sunlight. That kind of solar panels started coming nowadays. It will rotate based on the direction of the sun path. The panel also rotates, the glass panels. What I'm saying actually is that, my dear friends, there are lots of technologies in place right now. That is where you can able to bring in a lot of energy optimization, or also production of a lot of solar power or thermal power, wind power, or all those things, which is also doable. Next one I'm going to tell, it will be also interesting. When you are talking about net zero, there are certain terminologies which is also available. Net positive buildings. In the recent past, there's a new terminology in use. Net positive. What does it mean? Any guess? Any guess? It's easy. Really easy. What does it mean, net positive?
Means no usage of, less usage of energy, right?
Madam, you are absolutely right. There is a little bit of addition to that. If your requirement of the building is say 1000 kilowatt hour, 1000 units, if you are able to produce 100 unit more or 200 more in the same building, more than the requirement, it is going back to the grid to that extent of 100 kilowatt hour, 200 kilowatt hour. That is called net positive. It means surplus. Whatever is required, you are producing surplus power, that is called net positive. For you, it is enough. 1000 kilowatt hour is enough. Whereas you produce additional because of the efficiency of the building, space available, land available, or whatever reason it may be, you are producing more power. It means you are creating additional power more than what is required for the building, is called net positive building. Very simple language, very simple theory. Is it helpful? Obviously, it is helpful. How it is helpful? It will go to the grid. It will support the electricity board. It will be supporting the grid for some other purposes. Somewhere some losses are there in the transmission losses. This may be supporting to that losses, so that the government is getting the recovery of the losses. This is called net positive. So energy side, any doubt? I'll move on to water now. There is a similar concept called net zero water. Net zero water is something very, very seriously being discussed nowadays. Is we call it as actually 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recharge. 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recharge. These are the 3 terminologies used in water. What does it mean? Normal water consumption to be reduced. It is applicable to energy also. That is one principle. You don't use more or don't waste. That's the language. Reduce. Reuse. It means I told you treat the wastewater. Recycle. It means use it somewhere in your own other requirements. That is reuse. Recharge. What it means? Can you guess?
Rainwater harvesting.
Rainwater harvesting. Exactly. I'm going to talk a little bit on these 3 parameters for your better understanding. In large, see, normally in residentials, we don't use much of this reuse in general. We don't do that. But the problem is, it may be expensive. That is why we don't use it. But today, there are systems that are available whereby you can even treat the water and reuse it within the house, domestic level also. These are all the things available today. Technologies are very, very advanced nowadays. And one more important thing I'm going to tell you is that the recharge is one terminology which is very, very common when, I can very proudly say India is a country which has brought in this rainwater harvesting system, RWH, across all the development authorities level and all. It is a must when you go for high-rise building or any buildings and all those things nowadays. It is very good concept because the rainwater, not only rainwater, now the treated wastewater to the domestic level, if it is done, it can also be charged into this shallow level. What is it? How it works? Anybody has any guess? Because non-civil engineers, probably I'll give you the explanation. It will be interesting to you. The rainwater harvesting is something like there are water levels, whomever is groundwater, this one subject has covered, they will be knowing. There are two levels of water flow. One is called a shallow level, other one is called a deep water level. The shallow level is what normally we have ponds, well, open well, and all those, you can see at 20 feet, 30 feet, whatever the depth it is, 10 feet, and all, there will be a water stream, which is called a shallow water level. Shallow means low, okay? And then deep, another one is maybe 100 meter, 100 feet, 200 feet, whatever it is, that is a deep flow. That is another flow of stream of water. Normally, the rainwater is charged basically into the shallow level, because that is a level of water which is available for everybody to consume. For example, in big buildings and all, we have terrace, very big terrace levels, right? The rainwater is brought down here, and then it is connected to the stormwater drain all around the buildings. And there you put some sort of chamber and rainwater harvesting pebbles and all those things, so that the water goes. Where is it going? Where is it going? It is going to the shallow water level, so that is getting stabilized. The shallow water level is stabilized. It will support for the others. People used to say this year, because of this rainwater harvesting, and even though the rain was not that much, it helped. This year we are not faced the water shortage in our open well or in our place. How it is happening? Because the shallow water table is stable. It has been strengthened by means of this rainwater harvesting or various other sources. The level is maintained to certain extent, so that the entire year you get the water supply through that shallow level. So, what are the various discharging system today? I'm going to talk about only one, because it will be interesting. You would not have definitely come across the system, because that is why I'm saying the rainwater system everybody knows. Now I'm going to say one system which is normally in use, where the pervious layer, we call it as, the water will not percolate inside because of the various clay or kind of soil. The rainwater system doesn't work everywhere. So what we normally do that, we drill boreholes at every interval in the stormwater drain or at various locations, and there will be a borehole going at least that depth, that location to the shallow level, so that any rainwater coming to that particular point will go directly into the shallow level. Even the soil condition is poor, it will see impervious or rock or something, still this kind of boreholes drilled actually, water will go into the shallow level. This is also one of the methods which you can able to take away from the conversation today. That is called boreholes. Boreholes are driven for the purpose of recharging. That is rainwater harvesting. Also, it is in place now in large campuses where the soil condition is not pervious in nature. So that is also one of the things I want to say. Now coming to 3R concept. Net zero water means you brought some water and you are treating the water, using the same water for various purposes, and you don't just like that get more water every day from outside. Only when you are doing backwashing of STP, say 1000 liters going, you get 1000 liters from outside, recharging only to that extent. If you are able to manage like that, then it is called a net zero water building, water usage. That is also possible today. Definitely possible. I'm telling you, my dear friends, in Singapore and all, I have personally experienced. We drink water. They treat water to the extent of even the sewage water. Even it may be very difficult to digest, to the statement. You drink which is your water from your toilets. Can you believe it? Can you even think about it? It will be very tough to think about it, right? But it is a reality in Singapore kind of countries. We are not that situation. We are not in that situation. But you have to educate your system students or anybody you come across in your life. The water is going to be the serious thing, which is, see, right now we found a solution to renewable energy, madam. I'm telling you, Mr. Prasad, we have found a solution to power now. There will not be any big issue on power. I'm telling you, take it from me. There is a demand for additional power requirement coming up because of industrialization, commercialization, urbanization. You call it as anyway. You need to go with additional power requirements. You cannot avoid that. But parallelly, we have also brought in the renewable energy concept. Because of that, it is getting managed. It will be getting managed. It will be completely energy surplus condition possible because the way we are proceeding with solar power, wind power, or various other power, we will be energy surplus. But I am telling you, it is not going to be the case, similar case for water. Certainly, it is not going to be the similar case. There is a prediction. There may be a war against water over a period of time. That's the prediction. If that is going to be the situation, my dear friends, there is a serious focus that is required in terms of water management. In water management, what I am trying to say is the 3R concept. Reduce, reuse, recharge. The 3R concept is to be definitely studied at length, in depth, and then put in place or practice in everybody's life. Everybody's life. It is going to be critical. That is called net zero water, also coming under handy or critical. Which is not easy. It is not easy because some sort of water will have to be thrown off. Some sort of water will get evaporated. It's not going to be easy, but at least going nearer to that net zero water condition is a must. So water is also equally critical commodity today to be looked at. So these two subjects, I thought I will also cover it up. Besides putting little more things, it will be so dense. I don't want to touch it upon plenty of other things. So it will be becoming boring or something like that. There are technological initiatives coming up. This will be very interesting to computer engineers, very interesting to electronics engineers, very interesting to this the startup companies, which is called the BIM-enabled project delivery and facility management system, which is, are you able to see the screen now? Digital system, digital twin. Say yes, if it is possible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is for electronics engineers and computer design engineers and software engineers. I'm just putting it. This is going to be the future. These two areas going to add value for project development, operational enhancement, design. It is not necessarily for civil engineers alone. This is the business going to be the future. This is coming up to India now, and it is going to be digital twin and BIM. These are the two terminologies which are going to be critical and opportunity also. When there is always, people talk about the challenges. When challenges are there, along with that, opportunities are also coming. When there is a challenge of urbanization, when there is a challenge of creating so much of infrastructure, there is opportunity also coming along with it, my dear friends, for innovative solutions, innovative design mechanisms, innovative products, innovative approach, innovative operational concepts. Many innovative things are also coming up along with that, which is an opportunity. It's not a challenge. Challenge is there. Along with the challenge, we are also getting the opportunities along. So this is an opportunity for any kind of professionals in this. And I can tell you, I always say one thing: we are looking like we are stuck with the problems. When we are sticking to the problems only, we will not find a solution. We will always look at things, big picture of it. Out of the challenge, we are getting opportunity. The opportunity is going to provide me the thinking process, the designing process, redefining process, all those things which is going to be opportunity for me. When you look at there is an opportunity in that, there will be a benefit out of it. That is how you have to look at it. I used to say to I'm just using my personal statement here for a minute, actually. I have my daughter who used to be also the faculty member. Actually, she is also PhD holder in electronics and communications. All she used to be teaching, and now she chose to become kind of professional in the research and development. And all she works for an organization which is a research and development manager. Like, I'm just telling you people one critical statement which is called critical thinking. When you are confining a kind of approach, this is what I'm going to do, this is what my approach is, this is what my style is, you will not find many innovative solutions. When you come out of the shell, when you think beyond that four walls, I'm telling you, the world is yours. The world is yours. And as faculty members, as academic professionals, don't stop only with that academic side of it. Look at the big picture around, how that innovative things are happening across, how things are going all around. And you people are the people providing lots of, how do I put it, knowledge for all of us. I tell you, I always connect with academicians and students and all. Reason being, that is where you can able to get unbiased opinions and knowledge. For instance, if I talk to Prasad, if I talk to Sridharji, if I talk to Logeshi, if I talk to Hemadrishi, or if I talk to anybody, what I will get out of it actually is that unbiased opinion, unbiased clarifications, unbiased, what do you call it as, informations actually. It is not polluted because you are not having any interest in this. So because of that, I grasp a lot of things from you and give it in a different format. Likewise, one of the typical examples I'm going to quote, I recently met the Vice Chancellor of Anna University, the new Vice Chancellor, Selvaraj. Very good experience with him is that he himself is a research person in the sense on one particular product which is relating to the buildings in his past, and he continues that experience with him. I was spending time about 30, 40 minutes, if I'm not wrong. Within the short duration, how much we have exchanged things, and I learned from the academic side, and I'm putting into practice today in my business today. And I'm going back to him to give him, this is what it all happened about 3 weeks back. But what a transformation in our business it has created. Thought process, the discussions between academicians and the industrialists, if it is happening, we can bring in a lot of innovative solutions. It is happening. I'll share with you in the next, because once it is implemented, I will share with you, specifically asking Prasadji for a call. And it is going to be a fantastic experience for us also because of that kind of academic connect. So having said that, what I am trying to say here is that you have a lot of innovative opportunities available for any kind of discipline. Electronics, computers, IT, civil, or anything you can call it as, you have opportunities available in the form of building related things, BIM, digital twin, and all those things. As I mentioned, one more area, smart cities, which is also very important, and you all know mostly because of the urbanization, the smart cities are coming as handy. You have to have the smart city concept. I'll explain in a simple format: work, live, play environment. Creating in one location, you have a place for work, a place for live, a place for entertainment or shopping or anything, schooling or anything you call it as, is called a smart city concept. If the smart city is added with into IoT, it is called smart cities. Otherwise, it is a central city. Now, smart city means IoT is attached. So I don't want to talk much about it. There will be a lot of smart city solutions. You people can pick it up from here because a lot of other discipline people are also there. Like, for example, app, smart transport, city surveillance, CCTV monitoring, smart lighting, fiber, public address system, Wi-Fi, solid waste management. So many things are there in a single. This is a framework I want to show because I don't want to take much time of yours. If you look at any smart city, we'll have to have 4, 5 things. One is domains, that is safety, transport. What are the domains you have? Against each domain, What are the things required? One is integration layer, software, core computer data center, network, physical infrastructure. It starts from the bottom. From the physical infrastructure onwards, you add one by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. Finally, you will reach the topmost smart city domains. So if you add all those things together, it will become a smart city. So my dear faculty members, there are a lot of things which I have spoken. I don't want to complicate your understanding. Nature is the greatest teacher. That is a fundamental one. I always believe. If you go into everything, this is, you know what it is, ant hill. Have you heard about it? You see, I don't know, in Tamil we call it as erumbu puttu. Have you heard about it in your place also? If you go, this is a concept actually. Beautiful concept. Biomimicry, actually. If you look at it, the top temperature is 95 to 105. Temperature means if you go inside, it will be 77 to 85. This is a concept, a beautiful concept that teaches us actually how your heating and cooling effects are demonstrated in a small thing. I'm just quickly running through a few things actually, how it is. Beautiful concept, don't you feel so? Based on that, lot of technologies evolved. We have brought in a lot of concepts. Using that concept of building various studio buildings with the same concept. And I don't want to run that show. It is very, very interesting. I just stop over here. I don't want to take much time of yours. Why I touched this slide actually is that even a small old concept of Erumbuputru ant hill also provides science, also provide a lot of knowledge for us. When those kind of small ant is able to understand the logic of the green, sustainability, importance of sustainability, can't we as human beings, as professionals, as teaching professionals or any kind of professionals, can't we? We can. I stop over there, my dear friends. Nature is the greatest teacher. And ultimately, I salute the teaching fraternity always for all your, what I can say, the respect you carry in the system, the respect you carry in the society, and on top of it, I'm taking from my side also, I'm talking about it. I have a lot of respect for the teaching faculties, fraternities, and I salute you all for your contribution to the students and for the society on the whole. Live with a sustainable focus is also going to add a feather on your cap. So use the sustainability as part of your everyday's coaching, everyday's living, or everyday's life. Thank you very much, one and all. I'll listen to you for any question and answer, please.
Thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us with a lot of information, sustainable solutions, from basics to very big concepts. Thank you. I thank you very much, sir. Participants, please could you raise any questions you have, any queries? So it was very clear for all of you. Whatever concepts you have told is very, very clear, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir, good evening. Sir, good evening, sir. I'm
Oh,
Parthiban.
Dr. Parthiban, sir, you are there in the call, is it? Okay.
Yes, sir,
Okay,
yes, sir.
okay.
Sir,
I
now
was
I have a doubt.
indirectly. Yeah, please. Yeah.
We are making lot of discussions. We are doing lot of things, but
Yeah.
still the sustainability, how far it can be, there are a lot of outcomes. They are saying that in 2020 the water level in the sea will rise for 2 feet or 3 feet, like that. What is the solution, or how we can able to stop this kind of that is natural disorders?
Sir, there are respectively of accepting your question, sir, and it's a very valid question today. Sir, there are two ways of looking at it. One, as I mentioned to you, why? What is the root cause of the problem? What is the root cause of the issue? Why it is happening? Simple logic is something we are the warmness in the it is going high. The the heat island effect is increasing day by day for various reasons, deforestation, or forest fire, or you can call it as a depletion of more water, or many other things actually are the root cause of the problem. But there is only one answer to that, sir, actually. If the human being, I mean, I'm using the strongest statement, he is the culprit. The greedy, people are supposed to have that expectation, but they should not be greedy. That is a logic. If a person is going to record level to greedy situation, that is where the disaster happens. If your consumption of energy and all those things are to the required level, problems are under control. But if you go on increasing your demand, you are increasing your usage, increase your everything without considering the impact of it and using, for example, these renewable energy sources, without that, if you go on bailing out of diesel, oil and all those things, at some point of time, you will completely in a mess. You will not have power at all unless or else you have found these renewable and other sources. The problem is, sir, actually, it is that the learning, putting the learning in practice by every individual, every human being is critical. It is, see, the problem is known, sir, today. And the root cause is also known today, but the people are not ready to put up their efforts. For example, I told in the conversation, only 5% of the buildings are today green buildings. We all know green buildings are going to use less water, less energy, less waste generation, all those things, but still, people are not ready. 5% of the buildings are only green buildings. Can you believe it? Can we accept it? If that is going to be the situation in the future, I'm telling you, sir, howsoever we cry, there is a, you all know about it, there is a Geneva Convention, 2030 target in sustainability targets. Every corporate is now working on it. We have to reduce that CO2 loading, we have to reduce our water consumption, we have to reduce our power consumption using renewable energy. So many factors we are talking in corporate level now and putting implementation process also. There's no question at all. If that is also not there, we will be in a disastrous situation in 2030. That is why the Geneva Convention brought in 2030 may we have to be complying to certain level of reduction of CO2 or CO or even creating the heat island effect, all those things. The summary to answer to you, sir, it is in our hands. If we are all sincere enough, if we are all committed enough to ecological and sustainable focus, this situation can be brought under control. The glaciers are melting. Why it is melting? Because the heat is increasing. Why heat is increasing? Because of a non-responsive approach of going for industrialization. There is a seriousness in the people mind, users mind, corporate mind, individuals mind that will bring down the problem under control, sir. Probably if you don't wake up, this will be very faster. Possibly your question is very valid. Every individual is responsible for that actually, and to learn and put the practices in place. That's my answer to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much, Dr. Parthiban, Dr. Prasaraju, and every members for giving me this opportunity to connect with all of you from various institutions, from various locations, and I'm very happy that I'm there. And thank you very much once again. Let's catch up sometime whenever the opportunity comes. Thank you.
We also
thank you, Raju.
On behalf of our management also, we thank you very much for your, even though you have a very busy schedule, you honored us by accepting immediately our invitation. So thank you very much, sir, for the time that you have spent with us, valuable time you have spent with us amidst your busy schedule. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure. In fact, I have to go and have my lunch. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Parthiban. I don't know, this is a forum where I can use it to declare, but thankful to Dr. Parthiban for always for his guidance and support, actually. But anyway, nothing wrong in sharing. This is fantastic. This one, whatever knowledge I carry, partly Dr. Parthiban is also responsible for that. Thank you, Dr. Parthiban. And we have a common interest in this field, so we can take it forward. Raju. And we have also common relationship with Dr. Parthiban, we know. Thank you very much for all your support.
I would like to convey one message, sir. Our HOD and convener of this program, Dr. O. S. Reddy Garu, he has gone for meeting. So he wanted to convey his thankful to you. Hearty thanks to you, sir, for accepting invitation. And also, we would like to have continuous association with you, contact with you, sir, for future programs and other developments, sir, in sustainability. IGBC chapter also, for your kind information, we have IGBC chapter, student chapter we have opened, sir, here in our college.
Very good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's really good. Because make use of it, actually. It's not opening alone is enough. You have to make use of it. A lot of opportunities for the students to get to know the advancements in journals and all those things. Please make use of it. Yeah. Any support is required, please let me know. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. Yeah, we will definitely, we require your support, sir. We will definitely contact you further, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Basically, IGBC has, so I will have slightly more time also to use it. IGBC also has a program called the Green Education Program, which is a 40 hours program, actually, which can be conducted for anybody. And there will be an exam at the end of the 40 hours, probably a week later, or on the last day also. So if the people are through with that examination after the 40-hour coaching, so they will also be given the certification, actually, by IGBC. AP certification, depending upon that professional attending the program. So we have, and incidentally, I am the chairman for Green Education Committee in IGBC, the Green Building Council. So we are definitely there for all your support, and we will touch base whenever you want. Not necessarily only on green, but also on the civil or any other engineering subjects. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you, everybody, for patiently listening to me for the last 2 hours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.